Good day, everyone, from wherever you're watching from, whether it's in the morning, in the afternoon, evening, whatever time zone. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. All right, so this is another edition of getting a fully funded PhD scholarship, even without having to do a master's degree. So this is the second edition, and I'm glad to be doing this with Michael. So shortly, Michael is going to be introducing himself, and I'm going to be asking him questions as regards, getting scholarships and the like. So I want you all to stay tuned to the end. Don't be in a hurry to leave, and I assure you that you're going to get much value from this session. All right, Michael, it's nice to have you here. How has been your
Thank you.
day? How has been, your stay at the US? How is the weather? Let me start with that. So, how have you been? Just gist us,
First,
gist us. I want you to gist us.
thank you very much for inviting me, Sharon. It's a privilege. And hello, I want to say hello to your viewers. That's a lot of questions you asked in one, but I'll start with introducing myself. So my name is Michael Ibitayo Adenawola. I graduated from the Department of Physiology, Federal University of Technology, Akure in 2019. And I said physiology already. So right now I'm undergoing my PhD program in physiology and biophysics at the University of Mississippi Medical Center. Yeah, that's me.
Okay, that's the brief introduction. So, how has been your stay ever since you got to the US? How has been the weather? How have you been coping? It's not easy changing
Okay, so
environment. So, how has it been for you?
I would say good enough. First, getting a break from Nigeria is something that comes with so much happiness, and then the loneliness steps in. So it has been a little bit of bittersweet, but I'm really enjoying my stay here. Things are a little different. So let me start from the weather. When I came in, it was really hot, like way hotter than Nigeria. But right now, it's winter now, so it's way cooler than Nigeria. So the weather is very, very, it's very different from Nigeria, and they're very extreme weathers. So it's either it's too hot, too cold, but Nigeria we are usually somewhere around the middle throughout the year. So yeah, but it's not too cold where I am. I'm down south, so it's not that cold compared to people up north. And I've been enjoying my academic. Like my program is one of the best research program in the country. So academically, it's been very stressful, but at the same time, very interesting, right? Education is, very robust here, and that's one thing I enjoy about being here so far. And generally, the culture is different, and people talk about culture shocks, a lot of it, right? So good at most of it, the ones I've experienced are, the good ones. So people are a lot nicer. Even professors ask you, like, if they want you to do something for them, they ask so politely. They ask in form of questions, as if you can't say no, but at the same time, they ask as if you have options. So can you do this for me? Can you do this? They're like people open doors for. It's not like this Twitter. There's no Twitter conversation on opening doors for people. So if you are in front, you are supposed, like, it's just like on written agreement. People open doors for people coming behind them. So it doesn't matter who you are, vice chancellor, professor, or student, cleaner, everybody. So if I step in, I would hold the door for the next person. It doesn't matter the person's sex. So those things are, little takes that very, very, that comes in very nice. Right? So yeah, that's it. And the professors want you to, but I think we'll get to this. So you said?
Okay, so people saying that this white people lack respect, that means it's not true. Because people do say
Lack
that they don't
respect.
have respect and all that.
No, I think it's
So that means
different.
that,
I think
yeah, people
respect
do
is,
say that they don't have respect.
I think respect is a different term, because what I mentioned was politeness. So there are lots more polite
Okay.
than we are in Nigeria. So do you understand? Like politeness and respect is not exactly the same thing. Okay. And so
That's
that's just
true.
it. For politeness, trust me, they are much more polite. You know, in Nigeria, that's why in Nigeria people start conversations with sorry. That is PTSD because you don't know the condition in which you have met the person. So you say I beg, I be, or even the way people regard other people as chief. I don't think it's respect. It's just see, I come in peace. That's to put your best foot forward. And it's the same here. Just that they're just more polite.
Yeah.
Sha. That in my experience, they're more polite. And I think
So are you
just
trying
something
to say that
about
if I meet you at a so are you trying to say that if me and you we meet outside now here in Nigeria, you cannot open door for me or I cannot open door for you? We are also nice in Nigeria now.
see,
I can open door for
you,
you
you, you
to
you
enter.
can only understand what I'm saying when you experience it, right? In Nigeria, it's not like a culture for people to like. If I'm going on the hallway, right, and I'm just moving, I'm just going to open the door and then close it, right? But here, even if you are like 10 meters away, the person would wait by the door and allow you come in, right? Sometimes some people wait if
Wow.
maybe a group of 10 people. Some people wait, like they open the door, wait, and then allow everybody to come in. Just in Nigeria, we have those conversations around men and women, like should men open doors for women? I don't think it's the same up north, like within the same US. I'm not sure if it's the same up north, but in the south, I think, especially in Mississippi, these things happen. Even not only in school. I know the academic environment is a little bit more official. They do things more officially, and people accord other people more respect because it's an academic environment. At the same time, even at restaurants, everywhere, like people sort of respect of until you get on their toes. But yeah, they sort of respect other people. I'm not saying Nigerians are
Wow,
rude,
that's
but
interesting.
we come up we come up
So what about
strong. We come up strong in public so that people will not see you as Dundee. Do you understand? So I think that's a clear difference I've
that's true, Sha.
noticed. And some people might not agree, but in my experience, it's true.
That's true. So how about the feeding, the food? Have you been able to adapt? Because I feel the food is kind of different. Here you are used to eating the yamala, the swallow, and over there,
Funny enough,
I don't know.
I don't exactly like amala, but yeah, before people come for me, I prefer eba pounded yam. Well, from Ondo
Eh,
State, so I think that's normal. Uh, but the food, of course, the food here is different, very different.
okay, that's true. That's true.
Very, very different. I've not found one of my professors always asks me, Michael, have you found the food you like? I always tell him no. But first I add I've forgotten the name, but sweet potato. There's a kind of mashed sweet potato that they do that they make for Thanksgiving. It's very nice. Sweet. It's like asharo. Okay, it's like asharo, like our asharo. Asharo now.
Okay.
Porridge. Yeah, it's like our porridge. I think asharo is
Yes,
different from
yes, very
porridge,
well.
but it's like porridge, but it's called sweet potato casmeros or something. I've forgotten the name. I might check. I might look it up and then let you
Ah,
know.
wow.
But
See.
yeah, sweet potato something. Then mac and cheese. Mac and cheese is something that is a common meat there, but I don't really like it. I don't like it. And they have a lot of fast food. They also take lunch very serious, like very seriously. I don't do that. Like you eat breakfast and then you walk throughout the day. If you're hungry, you can have lunch. But here, lunch is a big deal. Like they probably won't eat breakfast, but lunch is a big deal. Uh, I still eat rice almost every day. Rice, beans. That's what I eat. Still Nigerian. To the largest thing that I still eat like a
Okay.
Nigerian here. and those things are available. So there's no point trying to imagine if you don't like the food. But at the same time, I've tried some other meals that that I deem nice.
Wow. Yeah, that's good. That's good to know. At least you are eating and you are comfortable over there. So that's just, that's just the best. All right. So,
Of course, I need to eat to stay alive.
all right. So, getting when it comes to getting, let's just dive into the major gist for today. I
All
got,
right.
even though before now, I did not know that someone can actually move from BSc to PhD and to PhD until last year. That was when I got to know about this, until last year. And it was because I have few of my friends that got the opportunity. So I just want to ask, how did you get to know about this information? Is it that you've known it for a long time, or how did you come about, this that I can actually skip masters to do PhD? How did you get to know about it?
Oh, okay. So first, I would like to give credit to my lecturers in FUTA. First, FUTA is the best university in Nigeria, and that's for sure. And in the
Yeah, that's
Department of Physiology, he used to say FUTA students are proud, but yes, it's quite
most FUTA
evident.
students are getting scholarship opportunities. That's just a fact. Most FUTA
It's
students,
evident that we are
most of
properly
them,
trained.
most
Anyways, I'll give credit to my lecturers because
definitely.
while we were in school, against popular opinions that physiology is a course that can't try, my lecturers were very young PhD holders that tried to make us see outside Nigeria, like what physiology can be outside Nigeria, or what the pool of science. They let us know that science is a pool outside Nigeria. It's not like the way we separate things here, anatomy, physiology, biomedical science, the way we segregate courses in Nigeria. I feel like, but in here, science is like it's a big pool, okay? And you just need to bring in whatever you have upstairs and make it better. Okay, so they brought in people from Spain, from England, from the US, to tell us about how science is. So those were one of the things that prepared our mind for what we really wanted to do after my mind specifically to what I want to do after getting my BSc. They also told us about these things, funding and how you can transition from BSc to the to graduate studies, either doing through masters, PhD, or to whatever means. So we're open to so many ideas, and we got to know a few things about how education is abroad, right? And after my graduation, I started. Although for me, I wanted to do masters, so I started applying for. I graduated in 2019, served 2020, 2021, and then I started applying for Erasmus scholarship. I loved Erasmus so much because to allow you, go around Europe, at least study in at least 2 or 3 countries. I really loved it, right? And there was somebody putting Maggie in my stride at the time. She was an engineer and she got an Erasmus scholarship, and she posts pictures all the time. I really admire her. I respect her so much. Uh, but I didn't get into Erasmus in 2021. So in 2022, I had friends that were telling me, "Guy, apply," and they were able to get in 2021. So in 2022, I was like, okay, if I can't get into Erasmus, let me try the US, okay, and do a direct PhD. But I'm someone that I don't know. I like following order, like the order of things. So I wanted to do masters, then PhD. But at the same time, I felt, see, if these things are accepted, then let me just go for it. So, and if I had I felt I had the qualifications, and then I put it in, and then I was able to get it. So I got to know right from when I was still an undergrad that in the US, education is more streamlined and specific, right, to whatever your interest is, right. At the undergraduate level, you hear people do majors in music and biology. Like your major will be biology and your minor will be music. So you can explore as many courses, and you can even change. Like you can change from biology to psychology in like 300 level. Like you can change from different unlike the way it is in Nigeria, where once you get into 100 level, it's difficult. It's not that easy to just change your program. But here you can go around. So it's about your interest. The way master's degree is, it's sort of okay. The way PhD is here is an academic degree, like it's the highest academic degree you can get. So the way it's programmed, if you are interested in in getting into the academic sphere, right, getting into the academic space, you are interested in research, you want to be in the academia, you don't need to do a master's. So once you have the qualifications, of course, there's a GPA cutoff, and you have the profile, you can directly get into a PhD program. So once you have good grades, and other things that can, I think we'll still get into that, but a combination of things that can make your profile, acceptable enough for a PhD program, then you get in without a master's. I think it's just a matter of policy. Also, but I think in the UK you can't do that, and that's what we practice in Nigeria. You need to get a master's for a PhD. But here people get masters to work in industries. But for people that already know that they want to be in the academia, they just go directly for PhDs if they have the capacity to. Some do masters. In around medical sciences, many people do masters to improve their profile to get into medical school here, and that's another conversation. The way medical school here is different from the way it is in Nigeria. So many people do masters to get into medical school. Some do masters to get a job, to be more competitive in the industry, and some do masters because they don't know what's next for them. So people just do stuff based on what they think. But you can do a PhD from anywhere, like coming into the US from anywhere in the world, once you have the profile. And the requirements are usually stated by the school. So each school have individual requirements for PhDs. And I think most schools don't they'll state it, you don't in the master's degree.
Okay. So are you saying that the PhD degree, this from BSc to PhD, there are courses that are specifically for that kind of program, or any course, or it's available for all the courses, or there are specific courses that this kind of program is, open to,
Okay,
or
so
is open to?
I think for the most part is accepted. Like I said, once you know this is what I want to do, and you have the profile to back it up. You have enough experience, research, publications, and academic qualifications to prove to the committee that you can do well as a PhD student. You'll be in it for the most part of it. I also know there are courses that
So
need masters. For example, to do a DRPH, it's a professional doctorate degree in public health. It's different from PhD. It's different from a PhD. It's a professional doctorate degree, DRPH, Doctor of Public Health. You need an MPH, Master of Public Health. At the same time, some schools waive it, but for many schools still need you to have MPH before DRPH. Okay, and I'm speaking for sciences. I don't know so much about arts and social sciences, but for sciences, you can go directly to PhD. Many schools don't. In the US, don't need. Many schools that I've seen don't need
in
you
the
to
US,
have a
yeah,
master's
I
degree.
think it's majorly in the US. In the US. So
Yeah,
what
yeah,
are
yeah,
the
of course. It's
documents you
majorly.
prepare? What are the important documents? What are the important documents for those that might want to, start processing this kind of scholarship, especially fully funded scholarships? What are the processing? What are the things that they need to put in place? What are the important documents?
Okay, the first thing is money. Well, yeah, you just said it's a fully funded scholarship, but for me to say you need money, you need money to get money, right? So not so much, but the honest truth is you need money. So um, people usually advise people that want to get into graduate program outside Nigeria to use their NYC, period, to, like, people that really want to do it, not some people use that as Japa route, like much older people. But I'm talking to undergrads and newly or NYC core members that want to pursue a graduate degree outside Nigeria, use that your NYSC year to do the searching and preparing all your documents, right? And also save a little bit. That might be difficult in Nigeria right now because of the economic realities. At the same time, you need something, okay? So I'm going to be listing some of the documents. The first thing you would want to get is your passport. And like I said, you need money to do that, right? If you don't have a passport already, if you want to do anything outside Nigeria, you need an international passport. So that's like the number one thing you need to get. You also need to apply for the transcripts. If you are a full student, thank God, the process is seamless. If you went to Omolugogo, glorified secondary school, there are some schools that have really that have really huge difficulties in giving their students transcripts. But in Futa, it's relatively easy. Okay, so you need to get transcripts, even because transcripts here are more important than certificates. They require your transcripts, and not I don't think I submitted my certificates anywhere, like my BSc certificate anywhere during my application process. So your transcript is like the number one thing when it comes to like academic qualifications. You need an SOP. Most schools require SOPs. All schools require SOPs, and it should be tailored to each school. But this should come later after like after shortlisting the schools you want to go for. But you need to prepare your mind that you're doing a lot of writing. Okay. What else? So passports, official transcripts, and then you need to build a CV. So this is where the bulk of the work comes in. You need to build a CV. So and to be a competitive student, right? There are things that are required. There are general things and there are specific things that are required by your school, the school you want to apply to if you know the school already. But there are general things like work experience, volunteering experience. That's huge here. Work experience, volunteering experience. That volunteering means you're not paid for it, and it's usually maybe outside your field of study. Work experience, volunteering experience, publications. If you want to do a direct PhD program, publications they're sort of important. They give you an edge, but they are not like a strict qualification or a strict requirement. Sorry, rather for many schools. Some schools require you to have research experience, but many schools in the US don't require you to have publications. But you need to have research experience. Now, those are two different things. Okay. Publications and research experience. So those are the things that make a good CV. So once you have a good CV, you have your transcript, you have your international passport, and then you start preparing to write a good SOP. I think those are like the major things. Now, depending on like when you list the things on your CV, right? The things that can make you competitive. If you need to be sincere with yourself and measure the highs and lows, right? So if, for example, you graduated with a 4.1 out of 5, you should know that you want to get into a direct PhD program. You should know that there are other people that want the same program and graduated with 4.8. So you need 4.1 is a good CGPA, right? But your competitors are bringing in their A game. There are people, in fact, we have people now that have 4.9, okay? So, and even 5 dots. So you need to, up your game in other areas to make sure you can match up. And God so good. People here don't. It's usually an holistic review of your application. So it's not just about your CGPA. It's also about the content of your CV and what you've done, your track record. And that even matters much more than your CGPA. The cutoff for CGPA is usually 3.0 out of 4, right? But that's like usually around 3.8 out of 5 or 3.9. I'm not so sure. But if you are 4.0 and above, it's something that you are still on a good scale. But you need to add up in other areas like the areas I've mentioned: volunteering experience, your working experience, your research experience. For PhD, research experience is not publication. Research experience is important, very important. So either by volunteering or working in somebody's lab, helping somebody with research, you need to be able to say something about how much research you've done. Now, this is not a hard and fast rule, but at the same time, it puts you, ahead in the game. And you need to know there are local students that are also applying. So you need to be a very good student for you to be picked. Because there are people that are here in the US that are also applying for the same program. Okay. So yeah, those are like things that, and then GRE is also a good thing. So for people that have low or high CGPA, GRE, many schools don't require GRE right now. I think many schools started to waive GRE around after 2020, after the pandemic.
Yeah.
But if you want to be very competitive, I didn't do GRE, but if you want to be very competitive, you might want to try GRE. Okay. But if you know what you bring to the table, you might not need to do GRE.
It's actually expensive now. GRE is so expensive now.
Oh yeah, it's pretty expensive. But trust me, if you have, let's create a scenario. If you have a 4.0, you have 6 months research experience, no publication. You've worked in a place for like a year, somewhere that relates to your field, and the field you're applying to, most especially the field you're applying to, and that is all you have. Okay, trust me, there are people that are applying for the same program that graduated with a 4.8. They have 10 publications. They have 5 years research experience, right? so what I'm saying is be true to yourself. Okay, there are things that can make you a little bit ahead of the game if you have the capacity to try to do them. So GRE is expensive. I didn't do GRE. I was in Enugu while I was doing this. I was working in Enugu, and I didn't want to travel to Lagos, right? Because that was the only available place to do GRE at the time. I didn't want to travel from Enugu to Lagos. But of course, I didn't have money, so I would be going by road. I just didn't want to do that. So I said, okay, I'm just going to streamline my track record towards my interests, right? So I was working in like 2 departments at the time. I was heading the health insurance office of the hospital. I was also working in the cardiovascular unit. Okay, so let me give an example of how streamlining can work. So you've done like 2 different things, because that's how it is in Nigeria. Let's say you studied psychology and you didn't get job in like a place where you can practice psychology. Maybe you are teaching biology, right? But you've done some, 6 months, your 6 months IT, or after doing your NYSC, you did some work around psychology, even if it's volunteering, right? While you are presenting your case, those are the things you blow up, okay? And they don't know, they don't know your work as much as you do. So you sort of blow those ones up and make them see that as your major interest. Okay. You also try to relate other things that you've done. You said what?
Okay.
So you also try to relate other things that you've done.
I just want to say
to whatever you're applying to.
Continue, don't worry, continue when you are done.
Okay, great. So in my own case, I saw this physiology. I was interested in cardiovascular science, cardiovascular research. Okay, but at the time I was working majorly at the health insurance office. But I served in the cardiovascular unit, and I made sure I didn't leave the unit because I knew what my interests were. I knew I wasn't going to pursue a career in health insurance, right? But I had to take the position because I just had to take the position, right? So I was recommended to. So, but I did it every time we had clinics. I still made sure I appeared. I still did ECGs. I still made sure I worked with a consultant and understood how cardiovascular science works, right? So I was working in the cardiovascular unit, and that was what I blew up when applying, okay? Because I actually did it, and I had things to say about it. I also blew up my research experience, my research project, okay? So if you know you want to do something like this, your undergraduate projects shouldn't be something you should toy with. Okay, it shouldn't be something you should toy with. You should try to understand it. It doesn't need to be perfect, right? You don't need to solve. You don't need to find cure to cancer. But whatever you've done, make sure you understand it properly. There should be a motivation behind it. Like, okay, why am I doing this research? Even if my research isn't published, I did in 2019, and it's still under different reviews right now, right? But that was what I spoke about during all my interviews. So just blow up the best part of you that relates to their interests, okay, and you'd definitely be fine. And then I was talking about adding other things, so that makes you, a more competitive candidate. Things like English proficiency. Some schools don't need it. You probably, if you're coming to the US, you most likely don't need to do it. But GRE is still a thing that can be considered. So if you have the money to do GRE and you pass it, it should definitely complement your CGPA and your profile, right? Another thing I wanted to talk about was recommendation. Like I said, it's usually an holistic review. So it's not about just your CGPA or just your research experience or your work experience. Your recommendations are also very important. So if you are still in university, you need to, of course, students are close to few lecturers. If you are one of those people that you don't know it, you just used to go to class, go home, go to class, go home with your carcass. It's not, and you want to pursue, an academic degree, and this applies to many things, even outside academic degrees. You need recommenders, right? I can speak, but specifically for academic degrees, even when you start working, they need professors to recommend you. So they need you to get through to your professors that have seen you do some research and also observed your academic performance to testify. So I was the president of SPAN, and it was easy for me to get those recommendations. So and some people give recommendations of 1 page. Like when you see those kind of recommendations, this is probably just a copy and paste. Okay, but it's important that you choose the right recommenders, people that know you personally and are able to write properly about you. One of my recommendations was like, of course, one of them should be your supervisor, because that person can speak to your research prowess. But others can be like people that just people that know you in the department, not necessarily a professor, right? The three people were PhD holders. They were not like full professors yet, but they were able to write properly. Write stuff like personal things. The first time I met this person was during, or after social program or after social course, and it was he performed really well. And then Arizona started, people that are able to speak specifically about you, not just general. He's a good student. No. And like they take it as a big deal. So I spoke to my graduate coordinator after I came in, and like those are one of the things he said. Like they asked, like they try to check. Some even go as far as emailing those professors. They send emails to the professors and speak to them, like ask further questions. So recommendation is important. Recommendation is important. So those are the things you need. If you're trying to apply for fall 2025, you'll be applying next year. So start sending happy compliment of the season message to your professors, the professors you think you use now, because you definitely would need them, and you need them to write good things about you. So recommenders are very important, and you also need them to submit things quickly. So there's a lot of policies that go into this because there are deadlines, and your professors they're not the only one in the world, so they probably won't have enough time to, and you most likely be applying to many schools. And think about it, you want somebody to write 2-3 pages of recommendation about you, and you're applying to 10 schools, and the person has to submit 10 recommendations, and this is someone you don't know. Like when you were in school, you were the worst person. They won't like to do it, or they will just do copy and paste for you. right? So it's important that you do well by your professors, not like lick anybody's ass, but do well by your professors so that they can write the best things about you. Because it counts so much.
Ah, that's true. That's true. That's true. So that's wisdom. If you are planning to apply starting next year, start greeting them Happy New Year. I remember a post that I made, it wasn't a few weeks ago. My supervisor commented under that post on Facebook and was like, "Sheun, well done, no. You did not teach me LinkedIn." That man just comment. I was like, what's wrong with this man on Facebook? So please make sure you have good relationship with your supervisors and professors. It's very, very
Yeah,
important.
yeah,
All right. So the
yeah.
next question I would just like to ask now is you said they will need that money is needed. So like how much did you spend for yours? Because the last person I actually had conversation with, the university actually refunded his fee, the money that he used for, is it for the ticket and everything. Yeah, the school,
Okay.
that's University of Michigan. He said they refunded the money back. So I don't know. What about you? How much did you spend and did they refund your money
Okay,
back?
okay. So I don't have,
I
I
just
don't have an
wanted to be
exact
sure.
figure of the tip of my finger, but I don't think any university. So see, these things are different. Okay, I don't think any university will refund money for your passport. Okay, if you need to pay application, you need to pay application fee.
Not
There are
passport,
schools that waive.
for
Yeah, I
tickets.
know. That's what I'm saying. Like when I say you need money, I don't mean like there are things you need money for, and I'm stating some of them that there's no way you need to spend money in those areas. So first to be your passport, right? If you're going to write any professional exam, any exam at all, or write any professional exam for yourself, that can boost your profile. Being a part of professional organization is also something that can improve, that can make you look good on paper. Okay, those are things that are looked at. If you are trying to come into physiology, are you a member of PSN, that's Physiological Society of Nigeria, or I'm not a member of PSN, but I was a member of the Student Physiological Association of Nigeria, and that's seen as okay, right? So, are you a member of these professional organizations? If you are not and you want to register, you need money to do that, okay? Also, in
Yes.
in the policies of application, right? That's like a different game on its own. You would Most times you would need to pay application fee, right? If you're applying to 10 schools,
Yeah.
some of them won't need application, like won't require application fees. But you also need to have at the back of your mind that if a school doesn't require application fee, it means the number of applicants will be many. So your probability of getting in is lower. Okay. So why you apply to schools that don't need application fee? If you don't have money at all, it means you want to look out for schools that don't need application fees. That means you need to expand your posts and apply to many more schools just to increase your chances. Okay.
So,
If you have, let's say you have 100K, right? That means you probably can't pay for more than two application fees. Okay. You can apply to like seven schools, maybe. Okay, let me use myself as an example. I applied to five schools. Okay, some will apply to 30 schools. I have a friend, CGPA 4.1, right? He studied physics. He applied to 30 schools. 30. Well, the journey is for
get
is
time.
for the is for the PS. He applied to 30 schools. He paid a field application fee, but many schools waive application fees. Many schools waive application fees. So for me, I applied to five schools. Okay, I paid two application fees, right? Yes. So I paid two application fees. Two of the schools don't need application fees. Okay. Two of them don't need application fees. I paid two application fees, and for one of the schools, it was waived. So there are schools that you can send emails. There are schools that have, if you attend there's this program that this summer program or something, and there are schools that have
Yeah,
codes. There are
most
many
of
schools
them
that
do.
have such things. There are many schools that have such things. So once those things are out, if you are able to, get them, you can apply without you having to pay application fee. Okay, but just know that you are fighting with so many other warriors. Okay, you're fighting against so many other warriors if you're applying to a school without application fee. Okay, so sometimes it's nice to look for schools that have low, maybe like $30, $60. No, $60 is high. like $30, some $15, okay, that you can, apply to, just to make sure. That doesn't mean the number of applicants will not be high, but trust me, it will be lower. Your competition will be lower compared to schools that don't have, like, they're just free, right? I applied to University of Tennessee Health Science Center, and application was free, and I got a place for an interview. So, but I didn't get in at the end of the day anyway. So yeah, application was free for me. But the school I'm in right now, I paid application fee, right, and I was able to get in. So it wasn't a waste of money. But see, the end justifies the means. It won't be. You won't keep. You see, it's not a waste of money. If you have the money, you see, it's not a waste of money when you eventually get in. So play your game right. Pray to God. Put in your best foot, and yeah, you should be able to get a place.
Amen.
Yeah. So those are the things that I think
Okay, so
need money that you need to prepare for. Maybe not exactly, if you know you don't have money, there are people that they know, see, I don't have cover. Just make sure you look for many schools that don't need application fees, right? Study the programs properly, streamline your CV to match the program, get your passport. You need money for that one. You not beg at immigration. So yeah.
next question, I have one more question after this. So my next question
Wait,
is,
can you see this?
as a
I can see
PhD
something.
student,
Sorry. Sheung, I can see recording error. Can you see it?
I'm not seeing that here.
Open the recording tab to learn more.
I'm not seeing
Recording error.
recording there.
Okay, so you are recording, right? It's still
It's still
recording.
recording. Yes,
Okay,
it's still
great,
recording.
great. All right, go ahead then.
Okay, so my next question is, as a PhD student, are you being paid? Like, how do you survive? Are you being paid or you are working
Okay,
part-time?
great. So let me go into like how these things are. So there are two ways. First, I mentioned earlier that I applied to Erasmus scholarship. That's like a government funded scholarship. So there are public scholarships. There are scholarships, Erasmus, an example, Shibnin is an example. There are many. Mastercard will do everything for you. They will pay your flight. You pay your flight. They will give you a laptop. There are many. Those are scholarships. Just that they are much more competitive. Okay, but those are scholarships that would pay you, and depending on their rules. But in the US, what many people opt for, what is more available, is funding. So they have a big, robust budget for research, okay, in the US, and there are grants. So many professors, most professors, in fact, that's one of the things that's funny about things here. There's no professor without grants. Like in Nigeria, you can be a professor and be collecting salary, doing small research, and you just getting your salary monthly. Here, you are a professor because you have grants. And there's a stage you get to where you probably don't need to also for grants, but everybody also for grants, right? And that grant is like money that has been set aside for research. Okay, so if you want to do a PhD program, and that is why it's funded. It's called a funded program. It's not their money. It's just government money that's been budgeted for research, and they bring you in to help them do the research while you study. Okay, and most times, so it depends on the school. So for some schools, it comes with a TA or an RA. Okay, so a TA is a teaching assistant, and RA is a research assistant, right? For my school, it's a little bit of research assistantship. So you work for your professor, you work in the lab, you do your research, and that's what a PhD is, right? You do research. So you do your research, and you do your professor's research, and then you publish and make presentations and all of those things. So yeah, that's it. For some schools, they do T, and for social sciences and arts, they do mostly TA, like they teaching assistantship. But for some engineering still have TA and RA slash. It just depends on the school. But usually it's basically through TA and RA. Now, most professors have funding, right? Most schools have funding. So there are three schools. A simple Google search can give you the classification of schools in the US. There's R1, R2, and R3, right? So You can just search R1 universities in the US. These are schools that are, like, they have top-notch research, and they get funded, right? They easily get funded for their research, and they have like a robust research equipment, or state of the art laboratories and things like that. There are many schools like that anyway. But yes, they are classified as R1, right? So they get money to do research, and when they bring you in, they pay for your school fees. Through all of this, they pay for your school fees and also pay you. But you, in return, will study and also work as a TA or an RA. That's a teaching assistant or a research assistant. Okay. So I work as a research assistant. In my first year, I don't have to do that because you'll be doing a lot of courses. So you don't have to do that. So, but they will still pay you. So yeah, you get stipend. It's called stipend. So you get stipend for and you must not work. You should not work outside that. Do you understand? So you cannot work outside that. But generally, if your program is not funded, or maybe it's partly
Okay.
funded, or maybe it's a tuition waiver, right? If you get a tuition waiver and it's not, you don't have a stipend, you're allowed to work for 20 hours within the school. And your dependents are not allowed to work. So you, as a student on F1 visa, you're allowed to work for 20 hours outside school if you're not funded, or if you don't have like a stipend. But if you are funded, you are not allowed, you are not officially allowed to work. You can you work in the school, like your roles are already stipulated.
Outside.
Your roles are already a part of the program. Okay. So but you're not allowed to like take a job role or something. No, no. You are just supposed to get your stipend at the end of the day. But usually it's enough to take care of yourself. You might not be rich, but it's enough to take care of yourself. Take care of the bills.
Okay. All right. So my final question is in two parts. So as a fully
Okay.
funded scholar, are you given free accommodation? And after your education, is it possible you stay after your education, or you're coming back to, or okay, for you, are you planning to come back to Nigeria after your PhD? And is it possible to stay? Is it possible to stay, just stay and be working after your PhD?
Yes. Please. Okay, so your questions are three, right? Am I going to stay? Are you allowed to stay as a student? And what?
Your accommodation, is it free or you are
Okay,
paying for
okay.
your
So
accommodation?
let me start from accommodation. I don't know anyone from all the PhD students that I know here. I don't know anyone that has free accommodation. You pay for your bills from your stipend. Okay, you pay for your bills from your stipend, and stipends are stated for many schools. They are stated on their site. So you pay for your bills from your stipend. So you get paid every 2 weeks. You get paid every 2 weeks, and then that's where you pay your water bill, your light bill, your whatever bill, your rent, and rent is paid every month. So your rent, all of your bills, you pay them from your stipend. Or if your parents have money, your parents can send you money, shower. But yeah, your stipend is usually enough for funded programs. Your stipend is usually enough to take care of your bills. Do you understand? So about me staying, do you get that, or do you have a follow-up question
All
on
right.
that?
No, I understand. I understand that.
Okay, great. So for if I would stay or come back home, yeah, sure. I have family in Nigeria. Like everybody, all my family members are in Nigeria, so I'll definitely come back home someday after my program. So yes, I would love to come back home, of course. And
Someday.
then if people can say
It's not specific.
yes, no, I can't come back home now. But I would definitely come back home. No, I love Nigeria so much, so don't worry. I would come back home. And one of the things why, to state this, one of the things why sometimes I see myself as very privileged to be able to come here, because some people worked for what we enjoy. See, Nigerians don't understand how the education system works here. I have many friends that are in debt, like serious debts because of college tuition. But in Nigeria, things are relatively, although life is harder in Nigeria, but education is way cheaper in Nigeria compared to the US. But being able to come here and have free education, do your research without you having to pay a dime. Like, resources are very much available. You have access to all the equipment you need. You have access to everything you need, or everything you need to do a good research. You have access to them. Okay, and it's government funded. Some people make sure those things are in place, right? So if people like us come here, gain all this experience, the exposure, we need to do something similar in different ways at home to make sure, things are a little bit more advanced in our in Nigeria, to such that stage, like, little by little, poco a poco, our children won't have to come here to enjoy what other people's fathers have put in place. Some people have the argument of, oh, it's our money, it's our this, it's our that. Since independence, how far have we gone? So trust me, I would definitely come back to Nigeria to do one or two things. Just to give back. Also give back to the US, because it's a
Yes,
lot
let's
of
make
money to do a
Nigeria
PhD.
better.
It's a lot of money to do a PhD, and they are doing it for me for free, right? So I'll be very grateful. I would also
Yeah, that's true.
be in Nigeria doing stuff. So definitely. But to stay back, yes, there are different ways, right? So there's something called OPT, right? Optional practical training, and that allows you, as someone in STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. If you are in STEM, getting a master's, or even a undergraduate degree in STEM, you're allowed to work for 2 years, getting an OPT. You're allowed to work for 2 years before they will come knocking, right? And then what most people do is they apply for OPT, get OPT. Usually you get that just to, like, that's the way. I think they see it as a way of giving back or something. But you just sort of gain some experience after studying, right, for 2 years. If you are in STEM, if you are not in STEM, I think it's for 1 year. OPT is for 1 year if you are not in STEM, but if you are in STEM, it's for two
Okay.
years. So you can work for 2 years, and then your company can then file an EB visa, like EB1, right, for you. At the same time, there's something called uh, um, national interest waiver. Yeah, NIW, national interest waiver. So that's like to apply directly for a green card as a student, or anybody can do that. So, but there are requirements for that. Okay, so I've said three things now. After, with your F1, all students have F1 visas. Okay, so with your F1, after your degree, once you get your degree, you can go ahead, apply for OPT, right? And then get some time to work. Then you can work, like, if you do well, you can get a job in companies that can apply for EB. That's like a work visa for you, and then you can just keep working, and at the end of the day get a green card. So I think EB, you need to renew EB like 3 times before you can get a green card. But I think that's EB1. And then I'm not so sure, but that's like the classification of the visa, EB. And then you can also apply, now the third one, you can also apply directly by yourself, right? To make an argument for yourself that you qualify for a national interest waiver. Okay. An F1 visa means you come here, study, and go back home, right? But with a national interest waiver, it means you have done enough in your field, you have contributed enough to your field to for them to allow you to stay here in the US, and then you continue to contribute. Okay, so if you have grants, you have a lot of publications, like very good publications, you have an advanced degree. Now, those are some of the requirements to get a national interest waiver. So with a national interest waiver, you can get a green card right after your studies, or even while you are still studying. So if you have awards, while you are here, you did a lot of stuff, you have awards, you have publications, you can get a national interest waiver. So I've mentioned 3 ways: national interest waiver, um, OPT, which will lead you to EB, which is like your work visa. Okay, but most people do OPT. So after your once you graduate, you apply for OPT, and then that will be it.
All right. So I think that's all the questions I personally have as regards this, and
Okay.
those are also part of the questions people do ask me about something like this. So,
I'd like to
do
see
you have
the
any
brief of the
final? What did you say?
yeah, what you're about to say. Yeah, I said I would like to chip in a few stuff.
Okay, that was I want to ask that. Do you have any
Okay.
final instruction, any final advice that you just like to share with people out there?
Okay. So first, please start early. Okay, start early. You need time to put these things together. Start early. Your recommenders, I spoke about that. Your SOPs, they need to be reviewed, right? Write them early. Be specific about. Don't write generic SOPs, right? These things take time, and it take a lot of effort and tenacity, right? So you need to maybe stay up at night if you work and write your SOPs, specifically to the schools. Okay, if you need to write code emails, you need to, it takes a lot of times and also disappointments to get through the journey. So you need to be tenacious and courageous enough to face it if you think that's what you want. You get it. You probably get some love letters. Call them love letters. They are like rejection letters, or we call them love letters just to make ourselves feel better. So I don't know anyone that didn't get any. So either through code emails or somebody will reject you, right? But you only need one acceptance letter. So just know if you get 100 love letters, you only need one acceptance. I told you somebody applied to 30 schools. The person is only in one school right now, right? And one of the very good school. So you only need one acceptance letter, okay? And there are tactics, a little like there are a few things to do depending on your level. Be true to yourself, okay? Be true to yourself. If you know that you are not such a competitive candidate, you can look towards schools that are less that has less traffic, right? If you graduated with a 3.8 or a 4.1, okay, people will say I'm mentioning 4.1 too much. If you're graduated with relatively low CGPA, right, and you want to get into Harvard, you need to add so many things, okay. So it
About
might be easier. It might be, yeah, Harvard or MIT. Everybody wants to go to Harvard or MIT, sha. So it might be easier for you to look at schools that are not so up there, like not very high ranking schools. See, many of the schools that are in the US have good laboratories. Many of them are good schools. And all you need, especially for a PhD, is like a good supervisor, and once you have funding, you'll be fine. So look at the area. Uh, in very cold areas, the traffic is relatively low, right? In places like North Dakota, very cold parts of the US. And also there are schools that are very good schools, but you see them online, okay? You see the acceptance rate online, right? So you can use that to sieve out. So yeah, just like investment, there are high risk, low risk, medium risk, okay? So if you still like Harvard and you think you have a profile, even if you get a 4.9, yeah, you can apply to Harvard, and which is high risk, meaning they might not choose you. You can also apply to a few middle risks, right? And then hope they choose you, and then apply to low risk schools that okay, this is not a very like this school is like in terms of position, they're like no, they're ranked number 205 or number 300. But trust me, number 300 in the US is still a very good school. Okay, so they're around number 300, but with your qualifications, you probably can get in. Okay, so look into that and then play your politics well, start early, and that might increase your chance of getting in. Also, there are like two ways. There are like two ways to go about this. Okay, if you want to apply to the US and you want to do that through funding, I mentioned general scholarships. Many people like announce scholarships, but they are very competitive. But if you are going through funding, it's either you do a random search. Okay, there are also people that announce positions on Twitter. Like so you can look out for that. There are professors that announce positions on Twitter. Oh, I need two PhD students for next fall. look out for that. So try to just identify your interests, try to locate professors like that on Twitter and then follow them. And the way Twitter is built, you follow their friends too, and they usually follow their friends. So you see a lot of professors. Like the academic community is just, it's called academic Twitter. So you can follow a lot of them, so that if there's any if they publish anything about them needing students, trust me, you'll be able to get the information firsthand, and then you'll be able to apply. Okay. What worked for me was publications. So I got my school through the school I'm in right now, through checking publications around my research interest, right? So that day I just came back from work and I looked up, the latest things in developmental program, which was my research interest at the time. And then I saw the professor that wrote this paper. The paper was very fantastic. Okay, so I looked up her name, and that's another way to go about it. So search your interest on Google Scholar. Okay, search your interest on Google Scholar. Look up papers that have been written on that particular interest. Look at their names and check their schools if you are interested. If you are really interested, okay. Look up their names, check their schools. Like, go to the school site. So I saw the professor's name. I looked up her school. It will be on the paper. Then I went to the program and I saw that, this is like the best research program in the US. And that was how my application started to that specific school. So that's another way to go about it. Okay. Then you can start sending cold emails. Like once you do a random search, you see a professor that you like our research and you like to go in, you can send cold emails to them. How to write code emails, that's like another topic. So I sent a few code emails to, actually many code emails. So you send code emails to
Already
them.
talked about that anyway. So I will put link on that description.
So you send code emails to them, and then from their response, I know people that have gotten scholars funded through code emails, some through direct application. And these things are in two ways. So many schools, again, another two ways. Many schools allow you more. Okay, they require you to get a supervisor before you can get in. Okay, some other schools run like a general application system. So my school runs a general application system. Even when I found the professor that wrote that paper, now I saw that I was interested in the program, right? I emailed the professors and they responded to me saying our schools don't need you to have a professor before you get into the program. So you need to apply generally. And this is the name of the recruitment officer that can help you with your applications. And I went ahead with that person. So there are schools that require you see these requirements on their site, and you can always send them emails if you have any questions. Send emails, don't be scared. Send emails to the program director, to the person in charge of recruitment if you have any questions or if you need any help. So I got in through the general application process. There are schools that require you to have a professor before you can get in. Like, have somebody that is ready to fund you before you can get in. So code emails works better there. But you can also just randomly search up schools, look at the program if you like it. If they accept general application, put in your application, and you can just get it. So there are a few ways to go about it. Yeah, I wish you all success. If you're applying for 2025, resumption is okay. If you're applying for 2024, application is almost closing. It's December now, but you can still put in your application if you already have things prepared. You can put in your application. You resume in August. That's for fall, and for 2025, application is usually open around August, September, and then it closes around February for PhD, especially for international students. On that's like a large range. September, October to like February or March, but usually February. But early birds, they do this early application reviews around December. So you should try to put in your application as soon as possible. Don't be tired. Okay, don't be tired. You'd like it if you get it. So yeah.
It can be frustrating sometimes.
Of course. Like I said, you get many love letters. It's also, sorry, Seun, if I can add this, please. Can I go ahead?
All right.
Yeah, it's also very important that you surround yourself with people that are doing the same or similar things. Okay. Don't do these things in isolation. So it's not necessary that the person needs to be in like your immediate cycle. It's better if they're in your immediate cycle. I had my group of friends were also applying for the same thing. So I could we could rub minds on, on how to go about it. They were able to send me schools like or research. They know my research interest. So if they are looking for schools and they find research that I like, they will send it to me. But if you don't have that, you can join, you can follow many people on Twitter that are maybe doing the same thing. There are many people that release information, people like you that release this kind of information. Make sure you are consuming this kind of information. You follow the right people on Twitter, right? That release guidance from time to time, and also ask questions. But it's important that you are in that space, like you soak yourself in that space. It's what you think about, right? And then it also helps you. It also relieves you of. You need to build like a cycle around that can help you with a soft landing when it comes to rejections, because they don't come easy. Trust me. If you pay 60,000 naira for an application fee, and then the next thing you get is a rejection letter, it's not going to be it's not going to be funny. But so you need people that can say, oh, don't worry, it's just it's normal, and don't worry, you get it. Okay. So yeah, that emotional part, it's very important to keep you going. Don't give up.
Well, it's not easy to lose money, especially this time.
That was like really, really tedious. And something here is 90, like A is 90. It's not 70 like it is in Nigeria. You need to work extra hard. Some people feel, before I came into, I was
It's
thinking,
90. So if you have
yes, A is
80,
90.
you have B.
You said
Ah,
what?
wow.
What
So
did you
if you
say?
have 80, you are under B.
Oh yeah, yeah. If you have 80 is B. And see that you get in that you're able to, lie. If you want to lie your way in, that you're able to lie your way in doesn't mean you'll be able, because if you get below certain CGPAs, your funding will be cancelled. So even when you get in, the journey of hard work continues. For example, in my program, if you had we take a comprehensive physiology course, and if you fail it, you'll be out of the program. If you have a B in it, you'll be out of the program. It's not if you fail. Failure is from, okay, there is C. C is 70. So once you get below 70, you failed. Okay. But for that particular course in my
Wow.
program, if you have a B, you'll be allowed to take the exam once more, and then you'll be out of the program if you can't get 90 or above, right? So it's a lot of work to be in a PhD program in the US. Trust me. Many
So
programs are not as strict as mine, but
every,
anywhere you are, it's a lot of work.
there's nothing that is easy. There's nothing good that comes easy. You have to
Yeah,
work
of
for
course,
it.
of course. Let me tell you a quick joke. Let me tell you a quick joke. The master students, right? I have a few friends that are master students. I want to get into medical school, right? And they had like this forum with the person representing the medical school, right? So one of them asked the question, because we took this biochemistry course that was really crazy, right? They took the biochemistry course too, and they asked if they have a C, can they still get into medical school? And the man said, you can as well have a W. The medical school here doesn't accept, like, if you want to get into medical school, they don't accept C's. If you have C, you pass C. C and C plus C is 79, is 70 to 79. Imagine you write an exam, like an object like OBJ, maybe 100 questions, and you score 79 or 70 or 75. And that's a C. They don't see you as a smart student. So although the medical school is very competitive, so you need to be bright to be able to get into medical school. But at the same time, the man was like, you can as well have a W to get it. since C is what you target. Don't ask C. W is fine.
Wow, it is well. So, people that want to relocate via the PhD fully funded, or you want to go and study, not even relocation now, just so that there is more work to do. So it's not just
Yeah,
about getting the
absolutely.
scholarship and that happy
Absolutely.
picture that you have arrived. You have work to do, and that's why a lot of them are actually busy. Most of my friends sometimes they really respond to their message, and I totally understand it. They don't really have time, so
Yeah,
that one is
yeah, yeah.
understandable. Some of them they don't even have time for social media. they are busy with one research or the other, they are busy with work,
Yeah.
different
But
things.
if see, you have time for your interest. So if your interest is snapping pictures, you have a little bit of time for it. But at the same time, there are times that you won't have time at all. Like you'll be in the lab. So yeah.
Wow. So thank you so much for creating time to do this. I
You're
really appreciate,
welcome. I'm
and
really
I'm
glad
very
to be
sure
here
that
too.
everyone that is watching this have gained, one or two things. In fact, you've gained a lot, so you can't say one or two things. So if you have any question, feel free
Okay.
to drop it in the comment section. The first session I had with the previous beneficiary, I'm also going to be adding the link. So if you watch the two videos, at least you should be able to start your application and everything. So thank you so much, Mr. Michael. And we can't wait to
You're
have you
welcome
back
too.
home in Nigeria.